We are with a super cool 1966 Mercury M250. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, I am Jason with Fender Garage, and we are excited to be here in Gilbert, Arizona and talk to you about this really cool Mercury pickup truck. Now, Mercury, what is a Mercury? Well, a Mercury was basically a Ford pickup truck branded Mercury in Canada. And so if you ever see a Mercury truck in the United States, it was not born here. It began its life in Canada, and they're pretty rare, especially it's a snow season up there often. A lot of the year, and so you're going to get a lot of bad weather. These were work trucks, and so this was a work truck. This thing actually put in a lot of years of work and up in Canada, and so experienced a lot of snow, and so there's some rust on this truck, and we are not hiding it, as you can see. And so it started off as a blue color, and so if you kind of look here, if you take a look, we got a dark blue, and then a little bit of a light blue, and then we got orange. And so all three of these colors are actually apparent, and we know what this looks like. We have eyeballs in our eyes. And for one group of people, don't touch it, don't do anything. I love this, and we love you too. And then for the other group of people, oh my gosh, I can't stand this truck's terrible. We can't stand you either, because we love all trucks, and so we like them in all shapes and forms and whatever we're dealing with. And so the reality is this dude Roman has a badass Mercury M250. He loves it, and it's his truck, and he loves it just like this. And so do we. We love Roman. So, all right, let's walk around it. So you've got some pretty traditional things going on here with the emblems, but this would have been an F-O-R-D, and so this whole section right here, this is really specific. Like, you could probably get a hood to replace it, but you can't get this because all this has too many letters for Ford, right? So these are really hard parts to come by. You got this really awesome front grille guard, and I think it's super cool. And of course, the license plate Mercury. And of course, the reality is you know, it's sitting a little higher than stock, and it's got a little bit bigger tires, and that's because it's got a brand new chassis underneath this. I thought it'd be kind of cool just to take a quick minute to just walk you guys through this and go underneath it and check it all out. So let's kind of start from back here. So we've got 8 lug axles with a Curry fabricated 9-inch. We've got a triangulated link setup back here for the rear suspension. So everything is, like I said, triangulated. So this is a triangle, this is a triangle, and so you've got this triangulated setup, and it really does help with articulation. You don't have to have a panhard bar back here because it keeps everything centered and locked in place, and you know, so it kind of fights and holds it there. You can kind of see for strapping down your truck, we've got some hooks right here. So if you want to just hook right here and strap your axles down, if you put it on a trailer, it makes it super easy. Rear sway bar back here, you've got your bump stops back here, and of course you've got our Icon fully active suspension all back here. It works great. And if you can peek up through here, you can kind of get a good perspective of the stainless steel exhaust system running through there. There's a big giant MagnaFlow muffler, so we're kind of taking 2 into that and 2 out, and then we come up right through here and split, and it helps keep us, you know, kind of a true dual look. And this is all 3-inch exhaust, stainless exhaust coming through here. Do a great job. It's got all V-band clamps, so you can kind of disassemble it, take it apart, pull it out. And then of course you got this close to, I think it's about a 30-gallon gas tank here. You know, fits, tucks up in here, super nice. Oh, you can see our vapor trapper right here. Check this out. We've got the vapor trapper installed. You can buy this on our website. That just really helps with, it's a charcoal canister, and it helps with vapor smell of gas, so it's nice to get rid of it. All right, we're gonna dive a little deeper under here. All right, so here you can see the Icon's mounted here, and this right here, we're using an E-stop. And so this is basically handling the parking brake setup for us. So it's a push button inside. We got rid of the old hand crank foot stuff. You get rid of all that stuff, and oftentimes we need room for kick panels and speakers and all that kind of stuff, and then that's just kind of in the way. So we've got this E-stop right here that will, you push the button, and then it'll just pull this cable back in here and locks up the brakes. And then you push a button, and this little ram in here will release it. So digging up in here a little bit, so This drivetrain setup is from like a 2013-14 GT500. And so you got this 5.2 motor here, each sequential tranny, and then you've got a divorced application. So if you take a look at it, there's a tiny little drive shaft here. He had an MP205 he wanted to retain. So the drivetrain and the truck is basically all we kept. Everything else was rewired, all new lights, new interior, but the metal shell and the current drivetrain he wanted to keep and maintain, he had. And so we've got some resonators right here, a bellows right here for flex. If there's any flex, it won't mess up any of our joints. And then of course up front, we got some 4-link bars up front that help keep us straight. And then of course we got panhard bar and all that stuff. We'll go take a look at up front. But it's nice and tidy under here. If you've noticed, it's all bare metal, and that's what he wanted. Now it's all been clear coated bare metal and looks really nice, but he just liked that rawness. The truck's very heavy patina, as you can see, and it's very raw, but it's also like honest. And I think that's kind of what he wanted about the chassis, just this nice, honest, raw look. Kind of really does go together. It was his idea, not mine. I would have powder coated it, but I think he did a pretty cool like look, and I think he's gonna be really happy with it. It's pretty sweet. All right, let's go up front. All right, so here we are up front. Gonna talk about steering a little bit. Before we get into that, again, we got the Icon shocks, we got more bump stops here, and then we've got our sway bar up front here. When we're putting these together and you're driving down the road and you got big tires, 35s, 37s, all of a sudden, those tires, like they can create some movement in the road. And because of that, any part of your steering that's undersized for the rest of the truck and the rest of the build, you'll start to feel that in your steering wheel. You'll get a little bit of movement, and when that happens, you're like, geez, I paid all this money and I just got these traditional old steering components up front. And so that's where a lot of people express frustration. So having gone through all that ourselves, we decided that, hey, go big or go home, right? So here we are. Work with RPM. They're a company here locally in Arizona, and they build a lot of rock crawling, heavy duty. Guys are putting 40-inch tires on their vehicles, and they're looking for just really good steering and least amount of movement and flex. So this isn't, there's no flex in this at all. Very, very thick, very heavy duty, very nice components going in here. And it gives us, just a really good feel that translates all the way through your steering wheel. Of course, to do that costs money, right? Like this, we pay a premium to have this. And we could cheapen it up a little bit and go with some more, underrated stuff. That would probably be okay. But that's not how we do things at Fat Fender Garage. It's just okay. We really strive for the very best and make it as robust as we can. And in areas where it's overkill, that's kind of where we'll track over there a little bit. So a lot of these components that we're using, all these ends right here are serviceable. These can be rebuilt. A lot of people have questions about those. We get these from a sister company of Curry's. I think it's called Rock Jocks. Trying to find good components that work really well, that we can be happy with. And if something goes bad, you're not with some mystery made in China parts that we can't ever get again in 2 years. So really try to make sure that what we're supplying and producing is a good quality product that, with companies that have been in business for a while. So again, you got another 9-inch up front, offset, and nice and straight up, and works out great, especially in this divorced application. That's really it for the chassis. Like I said, it's beautiful, it's stunning. We're really excited to get this cleaned up. He's picking it up this week, bringing his family out. They're gonna come grab it, load it up on the trailer, take it home. This thing's gonna be in their family forever. And so we're excited to get it back to them. And we've gone through it, it's been tested. We've got enough miles on it that I think we're good to go, kick it back to him. So, and this thing frickin' is awesome. Floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee. Let's go. All right, please edit that out, that was stupid. You better take that out, I'm gonna kill you.
I'm not taking that.
Okay, all right, so.
Get ahead of ourselves.
All right, so let's continue on, we'll walk around. So you've got, of course, you got the big camper mirrors. You've got those on there for better visibility than the small ones. And then yes, you've got Bondo and chip paint and bare metal, and you've got some rust right through there. And of course, you got some more paint scuffs and bare metal, and it's super cool, right? This thing is like raw, it's organic, it hasn't been babied. Like, you know, no one's coming out here and just like, you know, don't put it on a trailer, listen, you know, no one's doing that. You know, this thing's made to go and go well. And of course, you know, throw anything you want in it, go anywhere, do anything, drive it, and it's super cool. Of course, you got the really cool Mercury tailgate. And, you know, let's put it this way. I bought a brand new truck for the shop, considering this was a work truck, right? And I know how this happens. I know exactly how this happens. I have guys that would go out and buy a brand new truck, and they come back within the first week of the truck and the tailgate's hammered. It's literally trashed. And I go out there like, oh, I put the tailgate down and I forgot we were pulling a trailer and I trashed it. Well, guess what? Work trucks just get beat up. So I know exactly how this happens. So pretty cool. Of course, you know, on a new truck, you feel kind of bad about it, but on an old classic truck, it's pretty cool. So you've got these little hooks right here, right? You know, they're pulling down and strapping down. This thing was just made to service all kinds of things. I do find it interesting though, why they decided to put it at an angle. So they must put things in the bed. They wanted to kind of like crisscross and strap it down. So a little bit weird that they did that. This would have been kind of pieced together, some of the same stamping, you know, but no door locks in the back. So they had these plugs. And of course, you know, the original handle and a key there. And this looks like it's been replaced. Somebody must have lost keys sometime. So this would have been a factory mirror. And of course, you know, this would have been maybe like a dealer aftermarket part that you would have installed on it. This probably is a spotlight at some point. Some light or something they may have had on here, but probably had a regular spotlight and then messed it all up, and then they had to put this reinforcement piece in there to add it on. But anyway, so a lot was done on this thing and you know, over the years, but recently it's been gone through a complete change, minus everything else has been completely brand new. Now Roman's got some new wheels and tires I think he's gonna throw on here eventually, but we've got brand new suspension. We got Icon active suspension on here. I think we've made a video, we showed you guys about how that works, but let's pop the hood and let's take a look under the hood. So it's got a pretty cool motor underneath here, and all right, I'd never popped the hood, but I had seen a cable here and it's just inside the front fender in case anybody wants to know and open the hood. Anyways, we basically took this drivetrain that was here and put it in the new frame, and then we painted the firewall. We built a new cold air intake box to make sure we're getting fresh air. These were plastic pieces that were here originally, and we converted them over to some aluminum pieces. And so upgraded those plastic cracks, and eventually leaves you stranded. And so those have been upgraded. Redid some of the electrical wiring and redid actually a lot of the electrical wiring. And so got all that cleaned up. We added air conditioning. It didn't have air conditioning before. So as he's cruising around with his family, he can do it in the middle of summer. But check this out. So you can see the original paint color here. And of course it had, you know, the other colors, you know, some rust right there. Apparently it rusts in Canada. If you ever get a truck from Canada, it's gonna be rusty. Anyway, I think that's why people love trucks from Arizona. You say, oh, I got a truck from Arizona. Unless you were a complete idiot, it should be pretty, it didn't rust. It's dry here, and we never get any rain. So check it out. So we painted these inner fenders, cleaned those up, painted the firewall, painted the bottom of the hood. And why did we paint that? And we didn't paint the rest of it. Somebody out there is watching this video saying, why'd they paint all that and make it look nice underneath? Because it's really just to kind of showcase this engine. It's super awesome, and you've got this really cool, you know, 5.8 cool GT500, and we want to showcase that. We don't want it to look like complete trash under here, so we want it to look pretty nice. And so all cleaned up, nice underneath here. Plus, man, if you decide later you want to paint something or freshen up the outside, you don't want to have to go back and tear all this apart. You can see there's a lot that goes into these builds, and nearly as much as a brand new truck and car. And so you're trying to find a lot of places to put that stuff. So we'll reach up here, my tippy toes, and we'll see if we can shut that. I have kids that like to make fun of me because I'm only 5'9", and I have kids that are taller than me. Of course, they're step kids, so I can kind of make fun of them too. But all right, so we got the amp running boards, and let's check out the inside. This thing was completely redone. It had a kind of an original interior, but listen, in 1966, I mean, they're putting rocket ships in the sky. You know, things are, you know, going crazy. Everybody's going to outer space, and they're just finishing up the Gemini program, and they're getting ready to go into the Apollo program. And so when we were designing this interior, we just took all that into consideration. So we're going to check out this interior and introduce you to the inside of the truck. Now, guess what? The inside of the truck is blue. Check this out. So here you are with the original color blue, and the reality is this: the inside is never painted. The outside was painted. And so the customer's like, man, what do we do, Jason? You know, we've got so many colors going on. And I just said, lean into it. We just lean into this thing. This is actually kind of cool when you kind of jump up in here and you see this beautiful blue interior, this very kind of retro inspired interior, just kind of make it feel like 1966, right? We've got this kind of old school, you know, steering wheel. He wanted to leave it. Obviously, if he wants to replace it later, he can. That's up to him. But of course, we got you know, the manual transmission, the brake pedal, and then you've got these kind of Mustang-inspired seats, if you will. You know, kind of that nod to the bucket seat Mustangs. You wouldn't have seen bucket seats in an original truck like this. It would have been a bench seat here, bench seat in the back, and cram as many people in here and get to work, right? Pretty cool. Of course, we've created a lot of interior, you know, pieces that didn't exist, and we didn't want to like cut the dash up. That's one thing that I really struggle with these old trucks, is not cutting the dash, because once you cut it, you've kind of just butchering up the original metal. And I'm a fan for leaving as much original metal as we can. Here's our buddy Roman. You guys have probably seen this logo, Keeping It Classic. Go check him out. He's such a cool dude. If you're into crew cabs, this guy will find you one. You're not gonna get it for cheap, I will tell you that, because he finds like really cool stuff. And when you want really cool stuff, you gotta pay a really cool price on top of it. So, really cool dude, and make sure you go follow him. Instagram, Keeping It Classic, K-E-E-P-N, Keepin', apostrophe. All right, classic. And so anyways, new headliner, new sun visors, new seats. We even put like a tiny little, check this out. So this screws on, and then we got this piece that just comes in there and covers it up. So it keeps it nice and clean. You can hide your fasteners. So these crew cab doors, they don't like, you just want to push it to get in. And so because of that, it's pretty narrow entrance to get into these things. You have a seat that we had to keep cut back just a little bit so you could give yourself just a little bit of room. Children can ride back here. I think adults can ride back here. You shouldn't be too big an adult if you're going to get back here, not too tall. And then of course, this is where the original gas tank would have gone, which would have been behind the seat, but since then has been removed, and we've got it now, you know, in the back of the truck. So look right here, there's like a little electrical for the dome light back here. Well, actually these I think were for the ramp running boards here. But then you've got this piece right here, which we had to create this piece because that doesn't exist. Okay, I'm gonna jump up inside. Why don't you guys jump up inside with me, and let's just get a little more in depth. Let's talk about more of what we got going on inside. All right, well, thanks for joining me. And so really, we've talked about this interior a little bit, and in this truck we have all the normal little stuff. And I don't know if you remember, we talked about the parking brake on the chassis. Here's the little button right here. Look at that. The light's even blue. And so that is a parking brake that's been set, and the parking brake is being disengaged. Is that the word I want? Yeah, that's probably a better word.
All right. That's exactly the word I was thinking.
Was it the word you're thinking?
Yeah.
I was going to say unset. No, I think that's... All right, so you got Restomod AC right here. So and this just tells you what to do. So that's super cool. We've got these little tiny Restomod Nano pods right here. So these are small, and they actually, when they're smaller, they actually force a lot more focused air than having them bigger, and then they kind of diffuse the air, and so it doesn't feel like as much pressure, even though it's the exact same amount of pressure. Key in the original location, like a Porsche on the left-hand side. Eventually, like it moved over here, but it's right here. Even like in 1953, and they would have a key, and then they have like a push button, like you'd start it, like you'd hit the starter. So still some of the same like things, you know, they kind of kept for a while before they started moving over here to the keys. Now, we've got a small little cup holder here and wheel locks, you know, some cup holders, right? You have a little spot to put some drinks in there. After that, you've got your shifter, your transfer case, you've got your pedals, and that's it. I mean, you got your Dakota digital gauges, and then you got a stereo system. So check this out. If you can peek over there in the corner, and so we've got some Morel, thank you, put your feet where they belong. And then you've got some Morel low profile speakers and a tweeter there. And so that gives us, you know, some good sound here. I mean, ideally you want tweeters to be more up here and try to get, you know, but let's be honest, it's gonna look stupid if you start putting, you know, big old things up here and tweeters, and we want sound, but we don't also want to disrupt the coolness of the truck just for speakers, you know. So, and then in the back we have a Moscone amp. You can't see it. Maybe we can open that up and try to show you that. Jeez. Every time I go to get back here, I keep thinking it should. And so we got a couple 8-inch focals back here. I don't know if you check that out. I guess we need to wipe that down. We forgot to wipe it behind the seat. And then underneath this seat, which you cannot see, is a Moscone amp that's handling all that. And it's Bluetooth. If you notice, there's no head unit in here. And that's on purpose. We didn't really want to, you know, again, like cut a head unit here. We weren't planning on putting a big screen or anything like that. OG, right? Old school. Didn't come with one, doesn't get one. But we still have the technology in here, and so you can pull it up on your phone and you can, you know, tie into it and listen to whatever you want. AC/DC, Metallica, Mormon Tabernacle Choir, whatever, you know, choice you want. But you can listen to some good tunes in here and have a good time. And the sound of it when we drive this thing, and it's actually really not loud at all, even though it's supercharged 3-inch stainless exhaust. The guys did a great job keeping it quiet enough that when you get on it, you can hear it. It feels good. So, anyways, that is it. That's a pretty in-depth about this. Also simple. I love the simpleness of it. There's not so much garbage in this thing that you have to really worry about. Technology is wonderful, but it also is finicky. And so I keep forgetting all the little things that we make and design to make everything better that most people don't even know about on our website. So anyways, hopefully the interior piece of this was very helpful for you. Obviously, you know, sitting in it, talking about it, all that kind of stuff was really cool, but we'll take you around the block. Fine, we'll do it. So see if I can remember how to drive a manual. Starts up, purrs like a kitten. That's the power there. All right, well, let's go give it a whirl. My window was down this time.
Look at you, yeah.
Checking your window. Yeah. Last time it was Gavin's window. But all right, so we've got the suspension set up to be real comfortable right now. Basically, it's just an app on your phone. You just log in, and any suspension changes you want to make it softer, firmer, it's pretty cool. Easy. She was coming.
That lady was in the...
She was right in.
Oh my, she was in our lane.
Yeah, I know.
And she turned into oncoming traffic. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. All right, back to the truck.
Back to the truck.
So we are, take this around the block. One thing I love about Coyote motors, and we'll call this a Coyote motor. Fine. Boy, if that isn't annoying, I don't know what is. But
We had a fuel?
well, yeah. And I feel pressured now by that noise.
Get fuel now! Ow!
All right. Hey, I'm gonna get some gas because apparently we're low. All right, gas it is. What do we put? We should put 87 in it, save some money. We'll put 91 in it. Well, we might as well fill it up. gonna be like 30 gallons worth of fuel. We're gonna be a while. 30 gallons of fuel, because apparently we're at 8, whatever that is on the Dakota digital gauges. All right, well that was an adventure. All right, where was I before I was interrupted by the
We were heading
red
down the
screaming
street.
light? All right, so I was gonna say, one thing I love about Coyote Motors, the throttle response is instant, because it's all controlled electronically. It just goes. Where a regular carburetor, I push on it, it's got to go through the cable linkage all the way up into the carburetor, pull the brackets, and open up the carburetor and put some fuel in it and some air. But you got a little slack in your line, it's just not going to be instant. So, but this is, this goes, it's fun. So anyway, and then from there, like just with the chassis and the steering, like this thing's tight. Like it really is, like it's not wandering all over the road. I can just drive it and it drives great. It's tight. And if you put even a steering stabilizer on this thing and you went even, a little bit further, and it'd tighten it up even a little bit more. So it just works great. All the way down through the shocks and the way the ride feels, just going through anything bumpy, this thing just like takes it. So it's basically like driving a new Ford Raptor as far as comfort. You have just a really nice ride and super cool. So I could drive this every day. I literally could. And that's what I think a lot of people enjoy about these is you can drive it every day. You got the reliability of a modern motor. You've got tunes that sound really good, suspension that feels good, and what else do you want? I mean, you're just going from point A to point B, right? But you look freaking amazing going down a road. Like this is, in my opinion, it's really what you're after. A nostalgicness, right? Memories, driving an old pickup truck. But this feels like it's cheating now because it's super fun. Anyways, that was a quick trip. We didn't take very long because basically we just went and got gas and came back. So keep it pretty easy. But obviously we need to kind of get this prepped and ready for final photos and delivery this weekend for Roman. We're excited for him and his wife and kids, Nash especially. He's super excited about picking it up. All right. Well, that is it. We're done with this truck. We're gonna get it final cleaned up and some photo shoots, and we're pretty excited about it. So really cool truck. Like I was just pondering as I was getting out of the truck. Actually, I was pondering it earlier. I think I said it earlier until we had to stop and redo this video because somebody forgot to hit record.
I wasn't recording.
When?
For the whole outro. Yeah! My bad.
Is it recording?
It's recording.
Okay, all right.
We're recording. This time.
All right, so this is a really sick truck. This Mercury here literally is the crown jewel of Mercury crew cabs out there. It's not that it's the prettiest Mercury out there, but it is the most memorable. It is the most memorable crew cab, and that is because once you see it, you never forget it. This is one thing that when you see this old crew cab, you're like, whoa, look at that thing. You're like, oh, boy, she's rough, But then the more you take it in, you start to realize this thing's bad to the bone, just kick ass. And so we're really glad to be a part of it. This is, like I said, the epitome of all Mercury crew cabs. And there's a lot of great crew cabs out there, but most of those are Fords. And so if you got a Mercury crew cab, you got something pretty rare. And this is what this is. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. I hope you've had a good time. Gavin will give you some good video of the rest of the truck that you can appreciate it, and you can be nice in your comments down below. Like and subscribe and follow. We have plenty of more videos and content coming out. And if there's something you're interested in seeing or you want to learn something about, or maybe you want to understand how to, we're happy to create videos to help you guys with your hot rod, your classic pickup truck, whether it's Ford, Mercury, or Chevy or Dodge. We'd be more than happy to help you. Stay tuned and happy hot rodding.